Hey,
What up? What up? What
what's up,
up? What's
me?
going on?
You know,
Okay. Got your
welcome.
Boston B hat on.
I sure do represent, represent.
Represent. I like it. I like it.
Thank you. Um,
I'm already
yeah,
working.
welcome to Nyce Kicks. I, we back, girl. We missed a
Back.
week.
Yep.
We missed a week, but you know what? We're back now. So we missed you guys. We're glad to be back. And we have, as always, a lot to talk about. How's it going in sunny LA, California?
It's not so sunny today. It's like 66 and cloudy.
I mean,
But I mean, it'll be 80 in like 4 days, so I can't really complain.
that's crazy.
Yeah. It's been up and down. But now's the moment.
Now is
It just popped up. I was like, wait, what I'm wearing? And you got the lime green, so you bring in the sun.
I'm trying.
Is it still cold there?
No, it's been all right. It's been decent. Like it's been windy, rainy, but it's been decent for the most part.
Yeah, I saw on, I think it was 420. There were a couple people out and like didn't have jackets on. So
it was 70. It was 71.
Very
and
nice.
Saturday going to be 71. So it's definitely warming up for sure.
I like it.
Yes.
Today, I like it.
Yes, mine is a little shiny.
You got some gloss going on.
Some shine.
Are you wearing new lashes?
Of course. All the time.
So
I'm wearing my
magnetic liner literally saved my life.
Save your life.
Seriously, because I already don't really wear lashes to begin with. It's not my thing. But whenever I wear the wigs in particular, I feel like I have to have the eyelashes on or else I look really crazy. So I had to wear the wig like last week twice. And I had to put the lashes on. So I'm grabbing that magnetic liner and I was like, word, boop, plop them on. It's so crazy because I've been doing makeup for how long and I can put lashes on someone else in a matter of seconds. I literally just did it at a photo shoot. But on myself, I struggle so much. So that game changer. And it doesn't come off. Like the next morning, I woke up, the liner was still on, my eyelashes on my shoulder.
I cannot.
But the liner was still on. Hi, James.
Hi, James. How are you? Yes, it is an amazing product and it lasts so well for your lashes. I've been doing some videos and things like that, and I put it on my hand, and I was literally walking around with it for 2 days, and I'm like, damn, I had to get makeup wipes, soap, the washcloth, everything. I'm like, this is ridiculous right now, but it's great for your lashes, though.
It's so good. So good. You don't have to wait for glue dry.
Nope.
Little method. It like just
the 30-second blow. Yeah.
Yes. So I will be ordering more magnetic liner.
Thank you.
Are you still doing the promo for Nyce Kicks, the 10% off?
We sure are. So yes,
okay, so
absolutely, we support Mood Lashes support Nyce Kicks 100%. So
10%
it's
off.
still running 10% off. The code is Nyce Kicks, and you guys make sure that you check us out and get yourself lashes, or your girl or your mom or whoever. Mother's Day's coming up, so there's that.
Perfect. Love it. I love it. I love it.
Yes.
So welcome to anybody who just tuned in. We are Nyce Kicks. We do this live with y'all every Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. So thank you for tuning in and watching. What you sipping on?
Tequila.
What a guess.
What are you?
Hi, Alex.
Hey, Alex, boo. You know what? You just been so bougie with your LA style now and your wines.
No, I mean I had a Tennessee weekend and it was a good old Stizzle. Actually, it was a good old Stacy moment. I'm not even gonna say Stizzle. It was a good old Stacy moment.
Okay.
So just taking it easy with the wine. Just taking it
easy. I've been drinking a lot. And I'm stressed out about it because I don't know. Like it's just like it's a mechanism, coping mechanism. Like It's so crazy. Like I'm going through it and I'm like, okay, let me have a drink. It's bad because I know my liver, and I've started to change my diet recently. So between that and the liquor, it's not mixing good. Like I've been eating a lot of plant-based things and non-meat things, and my body is just crazy.
Meat.
It's bad.
You have to take it in strides to figure it out. But there was so much going on. Like you had a game night, you had karaoke, there was verses on 420. I don't know if you guys watched verses with Method Man and Redman this past Tuesday. I was in and out, like we were chatting on text, so I was in and out of watching that and watched the whole thing. But Method Man looks good still. Redman was a little old,
but the energy though,
the energy
like,
is great from what I saw.
dude, the energy is ridiculous. Redman's energy is crazy. I'm like, I live through him. Like he reminds me of my children times 10. I'm like, this is crazy. Method Man, he definitely, I was never like a, that's my crush type of dude, but he is handsome as hell. And he's 50. Like, god damn. I wonder if he's drinking every day like I am.
Method Man looks good. On Power Book 2,
everybody's been on him.
I was like, listen.
I'm like, dang, like niggas is on Method Man today.
Redman is a little old for me, but
he does.
And Versus
did a great job. I felt like it was a concert, and I absolutely loved it. But yes, I did have like 5 or 6 cocktails that evening.
I feel like if it's Beanie Man, Bounty Killer levels to the verses, I can get with it. I just didn't want it to go. I didn't want it to go too concert style because it was the thing that was different at the moment with the pandemic. So if we're going back to concert styles, it's just like any artist going live or doing a concert like Coachella online or something like that. Because verses, I always looked at it like, yo, I'm ready for verses, because you don't know who's gonna be where in their house, what the battle's gonna look like. But if they're together on stage performing, Redman, Method Man, so that's different. So they perform together, but I wanted it to like stick to the authentic battle in a healthy way between the artists. But now they're making money with Triller, so it's like, hey, why not step it up a notch?
I agree. I think I love the battle side of it. Like, you play this song, so now I'm gonna play this song to combat that, and that's what I think is missing. Because that's a good point you made too. Because I didn't even think about that when watching the Redman and Method Man one. But now that I think about it, I'm like, yeah, it was really more like a concert. Like, they weren't battling each other. It wasn't a versus. There was a lot of like collective music together, and they was bigging each other, which is great. Like, love it for the culture, love it for them. But there's no I want to see the battle side of it.
Yeah, like the Jadakiss and Fab.
That,
like, the actual battle itself was funny. It was a good time, but then the aftermath was even better. So it's like when those moments happen,
right?
That's what I think of when I want to relate it to verses. That's what I think of when I relate it.
Right. But, exactly.
You know, when money changes, things change. So I'm excited for the artists to be making their cuts from doing it. SWV and Escape is next.
Yeah, I'm so excited. Our it's that good. Saturday, the day before Mother's Day. So it's Mother's Day weekend, but I'm very, very excited for that one because I'm a huge fan of both. And it's funny because I have posted something on Instagram about it, and I'm like, oh, the ladies are up next. Ladies got next. And I've had men reach out to be like, yo, I got SWV, I got this. So I think it's one of those things where it's like it's a good mix of men and women that will be enjoying it. It's not like a Keisha Cole and an Ashanti where it was like all the women like are going to be into it. This is like our generation, our culture, for R&B. So I'm super excited about that.
Yeah, that should be dope. Anyone just tuning in with Nyce Kicks, we always do current events. We're on our current events status right now. And then because we're on entertainment, Melvin, the great, not sure if you remember his whole thing, like he had autism, but he was known for like D's nuts and got him. Like that was his
Got
status.
him.
Yeah, he had like the crazy buck teeth.
The
But
crazy buck teeth.
yeah.
Great. I'm mad that's the he had the crazy buck teeth, y'all. Oh
No shade
dang.
on the buck
I
teeth.
didn't even know he had autism.
I didn't know that until recently. So there was a recent post about him being seen in LA at a metro station.
Okay.
Real jack, like teeth brown, like just looked very homeless. And it's so sad because so many people made money off of him during that time where he was the
right
the meme going on. I think this is before memes were even popular. I don't remember. But I remember going back and forth and talking with Tiffany a lot of him. And so after that whole post about him at the metro station today, there was a post on my feed on Instagram that said he passed away. So I immediately sent that. I sent it to Tiff and I sent it to Dapper. We was talking about it. And I'm like, yo, we were just talking about him and now he passed away. And then like hours later, Tiffany inboxed me the Shade Room's post that him, his cousin, I believe it was, did a whole live interview because he's alive. So it's like, it's crazy with social media. Like, people are
you can't.
This happened with DMX too.
It did, because I was like, I went on social media and then I saw a couple of posts and I was like, yo, and I had texted him like, DMX passed. Like, we just had our show. We just talked about him. And I'm like, he passed. And then you hit me up after and was like, no, he didn't, blah, blah, blah. And it was the next day when I had read it. And I was like, you know what? I need to stick to my news, like my CNN news, and even news can be freaking fake news. But usually they're not going to report anything of that matter. They're not going to put that out there unless they have concrete fact. It's not like a TMZ or whatever.
Right.
But once I saw the CNN pop up, I said, "Oh yeah, now it's official."
Yeah, so he's alive and well, and his cousin is basically saying that, sometimes he has family, he has support, he'll go home and then he'll leave out for like days at a time, and that's just what he does, and they like support him doing whatever he's doing. But it's just sad, like, to see like that's the place that he's in, and the fact that him on social media, people using him to make money, like they didn't support that man enough to do something different to get him in a different place in his life, and like now he's out here homeless, and there's a lot of homeless people in LA. Like, I went by Skid Row for the first time, and I don't even know how to put it into words. If you just think about the sidewalks overloaded with tents and just homeless people, to the point where like they flood into the actual street. It's like, you can't own real estate over there. Like, I wouldn't want to live there, because there's buildings, there's occupancies, like there's just places to live, but like
right.
There. So there's so many homeless people in LA. It's really sad. So that he is in that place is kind of like, damn.
That's the sad part, because like you said, the homeless people is huge. That's a big thing for me. Mental illness and homelessness are two big things for me. And I know California has had the highest homelessness rate for years. But after hearing you saying, when you've been there as well, it seems like, and after COVID and all of these crazy things, it's gotten worse. Like, you were talking about Venice Beach, and they're on there with tents on Venice Beach. I'm like, houseway. Remember when we went out there?
Yeah.
And it was just cool chills, like Muscle Beach or whatever they call it. And you're telling me now, like, no, they're set up on there with couches on the beach. Like, that's crazy.
A whole IKEA setup. When you're going into the showroom at IKEA, they have a whole
I
don't even laugh, but they have a whole setup on the
beach. For real. Yes.
It's insane. So, but apparently, like, there is something the city's doing. They're mandated to like give a Skid Row or help them on Skid Row by October or something. I didn't read it, so I won't state it, but yeah, it's a mess. But crazy.
So one of the other things in current news is Kobe. So Kobe rest in peace, God rest his soul. But he has when you get to that certain level in basketball, you get your sneaker, your own sneaker, and your name and all of that, and that's a huge deal. I'm not into sneakers the way that you are or a lot of people are, but I know that there are different types of Kobe sneakers. I don't know.
Wait, you leaned in. I don't know.
I don't know. Harachis, is that a Kobe sneaker?
I can't confirm or deny that.
Okay, I'm not sure. So for the fellas that watch this, please post in the comments
I
if
can't
I
confirm or
am
deny.
right or not. And there's my Apple
They're
fans
very
as well.
comfortable. Harachis are very comfortable, but I don't know like who's behind them.
I got MJ had got a pair, and I remember that they look decent, but I don't know. I don't know. I could if you walk by me, I have no idea what kind of sneakers they are. If I don't see the Nike, then if I see the check, then I know it's Nike. I
Well,
don't
they're
know.
Nike. They're made Nike. So
They are.
Harachis.
Yes.
Yeah. Harachis is the name of the sneaker, but
I
don't know if
So his contract had expired, and his wife was basically like, she's not going to renew the contract with them because she doesn't feel like they were I don't know if it's necessarily promoting the sneaker as much, but it's something along those lines since his passing. So she's basically kind of like, this is it. So now it's where they're saying that they're not going to release a Kobe shoe ever again. Like that's a wrap. So I feel like that can go twofold because I know the sneaker community is big, and people who have his shoe now, if they don't do it, they're gonna sell them shits and they're gonna get mad money off of those shoes. Right. But then also there's the community that wants to. There's the other side of it that they want to, continue to support. And I know that when you wear someone's shoe in the sneaker community, you feel like, you're a part of them. You're a part of that culture. It's basketball. It's big.
History.
Right, exactly. So that can be also very, very challenging and sad for those who are a big fan, and for LA and the community in LA. So that I think will be very interesting.
All good things come to an end. So it's like whoever has his sneakers will rock them. I mean, if they're fans, I don't think they would sell them because, like, if you're a real sneakerhead or you're a real Kobe fan, you'll keep them. But that'd be a great question for Lou because I know Lou, good friend of ours, he is a big Kobe fan, so that's interesting to see. But she had a lot of decisions probably coming up to make in terms of how they deal with his situation. But
right, Kobe. And I think for Vanessa, his wife, I think the biggest thing is not about the money, because some people might be like, oh, well, they're not trying to give her the deal, whatever. I don't think it's about the money. I think it's really just about the legacy for him, and she wants to make sure that is come to fruition based on his death. But I don't know. I guess we'll see. But it don't look good. It don't look good.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of deaths, so recently the verdict came out for George Floyd's case. Derek Chauvin, whatever his name is, was found guilty. And again, I don't like to get too controversial on Nyce Kicks in terms of politics because it's very deep rooted, and I know my place and I stay in my place most times, not all the time. But I guess for me, the positive is we have a guilty charge, but
on all three charges, on all three counts, which is crazy.
Right, but the next step is seeing actually what happens in terms of how much time he has to serve, what his sentencing is. Granted, nothing is going to bring back George Floyd. Nothing is going to bring back anyone that we've lost to police failure or whatever we want to consider this. But it's one of those situations where I think about, because I was like looking at posts and looking at people's feeds and just the feedback around it. Like, when will we be okay? Like, will we ever be okay? Will we ever be happy, quote unquote, or satisfied with outcomes, because there was some people who were like, "Hey, like justice has been served. We got a guilty verdict, whatever the case may be." But like, is that really justice? And then the other side of it is people being like, "Okay, well now we need X, Y, and Z to happen. Like, it's not enough." Right? So it's like, where do we find the happy medium of change is going to happen, it's happening, it's good, and I don't know, it's a lot. I just try to stay in the background because I focus on making sure I'm in a place where I'm mentally happy and stable. Not that I'm not empathetic, so I don't want people watching this to get that wrong or to misunderstand. I'm empathetic to the shit that goes on in the world, but it's like, how much does one really bear in terms of identifying with these situations and really internalizing what's going on? When are we okay? When are we satisfied? Which even that sounds crazy, right? Like, why do we need to be satisfied? I don't know. It's a lot. It's very deep, and that's a whole topic on its own. But definitely a step in the right place.
Yes, I agree. I think it's definitely a half an inch forward, because there's so much more work that needs to be done. And I think just the fact of, it's almost like when Obama won for presidency, and it was like, wow, oh my God, that's amazing. The first Black president of the United States. So that's only a small part. It's a big part, but it's a small part as well towards the movement of moving forward for minorities and for Black people. But so I feel like that is relatable to that, in a sense where it's like, we've never felt like the justice. And when I say justice, meaning like them being held accountable for their actions in the killings of Black people, just innocently killing Black people. With it just crazy to me. So the fact that the jury did find him guilty on all three charges and all of that, I think that was it gave us a little bit of hope. You know what I mean? But again, it's a lot. Like you said, I feel the same way. Like, there's so much more that needs to be done. And there's so much more that needs to happen in order for us to keep the movement going.
It's like when you take a bunch of necklaces.
Yes, that's a good
and
point.
You're trying to get them apart because you want that one necklace. Like, that one necklace is the one.
Yes.
Like, trying to get to it is so much, it just gets overwhelming.
Yes.
Trying to like understand everything. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. So I mean, again, great step in the right direction. We'll see what happens at his sentencing.
And then go from there.
If anything happens in terms of the other officers that were present, it's a whole other thing. But anyway, that's your current events.
That's your current events, and that's the craziness in the world that continues to go on and on and on and on. Unfortunately. So now getting into our topic, we're talking about survivor's guilt, making it out complex. How does one maneuver that when they are in a position where they are excelling in life or excelling in certain things, and you feel like you're leaving others behind, friends, family, all of that?
Yeah. And then in looking at this topic, survivor's guilt, there's a loss. So say, for example, and I don't even want to say this, I don't want to speak into existence, but if we're together and there's a car accident and like one of us passes away, the other one feeling like, why her and not me? Like, that would probably be a real thing for me. And right now in my life, I haven't dealt with the survivor's guilt in terms of being around or being in an environment where someone's life was lost and I felt like, damn, why not me? But there's other areas with having survivor's guilt that I have felt in terms of going to indigenous white school, seeing like my ex from middle school not make it out and end up being kind of a bum on the streets. Like, you know, so there's different situations that happen that are also tied to survivor's guilt. So it's not just about, you know, quote unquote, losing somebody and feeling that guilt of like, it should have been you. So there's a couple different, you know, situations that we can talk through in terms of how we relate to the actual topic of survivor's guilt, but it is a mental illness. In terms of like how they not determine, but how they characterize like survivor's guilt. It's a mental illness, and you know, people really deal with it a lot more in like firefighters, policemen, people that are in the military in terms of PTSD, like traumatic, any kind of traumatic event that happens. You know, so when I looked it up, I was like, oh, this is interesting because I haven't dealt with it in terms of losing someone, but you know, the other areas of dealing with it.
Yeah, and I've lost people where I've never had that survivor's guilt from they passed on and I survived. So in that aspect, no. But in terms of me progressing in my life and the choices that I've made, you know, that I've definitely have had survivor's guilt, survivor's remorse, I would say more so for that. And it's funny because there's a show that uh I don't remember what, I think it was HBO or something like that, but there was a show and it was called Survivor's Remorse. And it was all about that. And you know, there was a guy and he got into the NBA and you know, he got his big house and he took in his family, his mom, his aunt, his cousins, like all these people into his house. And that show was based all around, you know, survivor's guilt, survivor's remorse from him making it. And I think that that is very real in our community, especially in the hip hop community and the sports world, where you know one family member kind of makes it out, and then you are like, well, damn, I have all my homies back in the hood or back at home. I got my family who's on Section 8, food stamps, whatever, and I'm making millions of dollars. How do I get them out? And do I get them out? You know, because that's not always the answer for that either. Because you can't take care of everybody. You got to make sure you take care of yourself. But we have that guilt that like, damn, I'm doing so well. They've been a part of my experience. They've been a part of my life. They grew up with me. I need to take care of them. But it's like, do you really need to do that? You know? So I think that's the hard line that people have to walk when they're in that situation.
I feel like when I make it, it's coming, right? So when I make it,
absolutely,
I'm not coming back to everybody.
Me neither.
And like my phone number might change, or I like no straight out, and I don't want to feel bad about that, right? Because I think we've all been given the opportunity to choose the life that we want to live,
right?
With the exception of those who may be, you know, handicapped or have some medical reason why they can't do what they really want to do. But if you're just as able as I am, I don't know how much of my success do I feel like I need to give back to my family or my friends. Like the people who help me get to the point of where I'm going, absolutely are always going to be there. We're going together in a sense, right? Because your circle is the people who's going to get you to where you're going. But I can relate to someone feeling like, damn, how did I get to this point and these people are not at this point? Like when I was going to school, like I went to Bentley, which is a very great school. It's predominantly white.
Yep.
And I got into Bentley because I went through a summer program. So I didn't just get into the school because I had good grades in school. No, my guidance counselor was like, bitch, you're in my office every week.
Bitch,
like,
you're in my office every week.
like, getting kicked out of class. Like, let's figure it out. I want you to go to this. It was like a woman's brunch or something like that she wanted to go to and get introduced to the advisor of the program. It was called CAP. And so I went through the program, got into the school, ended up being like the summer lead for the actual program for the next class that came in after me. Like, got really involved. But I remember thinking, like, damn, I'm walking around this campus. The campus is beautiful, great staffing, as I thought, right? Because at the point, I just thought I was in a good position, being at the school that costs so much money, living on campus, paying not much money to go there, like room and board all set because I was a resident assistant. But then looking back and being like, damn, so why can't my cousin be in this same position? Or why isn't like Sally that I went to high school with given the same opportunity to go to this great school that I got the opportunity? Like,
exactly.
That aspect, I totally can relate to feeling that kind of survivor's guilt or the force of being like, damn, like I want all schools to look like this. I want all schools to feel like, when I say look like this, I mean like in terms of the structure, not really like places that I saw, because I wanted that for minorities. Like I wanted schools to
exactly
provide the things and the tools and the resources that Bentley provided me on a scale of what my cousin could be able to do, that she wasn't going to be able to do because she just didn't have the same opportunity.
Right. That makes sense. And I had a similar situation too, where for me it was like I was in Mecco, and I'm sure a lot of people who are on here who went to Mecco. And then for those who are not in a state or area where you don't know what Mecco is, it's basically a program where you ship kids from the city. I said ship, but you bus kids from the city to the suburbs. And the whole program originated way back where, you know, they wanted to segregate schools, desegregate schools, sorry, because schools were so segregated. So they wanted to desegregate schools and they wanted to have, you know, blacks and whites mixed. So that is kind of how the whole program came about. And so I was in that program from middle school to high school, graduated out of that. And so I lived in the city. I grew up in the city and, you know, struggled in the hood, all of that. And was having to get up very, very early. You know, I remember my bus stop was 6:45. I had to be at the bus stop so I could get on the bus and go all the way out to a suburban town. And the school was majority white. There were a couple of minority families in the town, but not much. But it was more so the kids that were from Boston and in the city to go into those towns. So feeling that and being like, okay, I'm going into these schools, I'm learning different things. I am interacting with other people. I'm interacting with white people. I'm learning their privilege. I'm learning how they are. And then going back into the city, and you know, you're there on the weekends. I'm with my family, I'm with my cousins, I'm with all of this, and it's a whole different aspect. And there were a lot of times where I would get like, I remember having going out with a friend, and uh I was drinking a glass of wine, and she was like, "Oh, you bougie now." I'm like, "How am I bougie?" Like
the same thing you did to me at the beginning of this episode.
Right. I'm like, I know, right? I know, right? That's so true. Mama, how am I bougie now? Because I'm drinking wine. Oh, you drinking wine now? Like, oh, da, 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 da. I'm like, what? Like, where that come from? Like, so me getting judged just for being in a different school system, you know, it's almost like, well, you're getting a better education or whatever the case is. And knowing that I want to go to college, me going to college, people that I was around, friends, family that did not go to college, that wasn't their path. And having that, I would say, yeah, definitely having that guilt of like, damn, I am really like moving forward in things. and they are not. And
Mm-hmm.
how do you now mend the communication between the two? And I
Mm-hmm.
think that was the hardest part for me to understand. Is like, how do I mend the communication? Because at the end of the day, you know how it is. It's a different conversation than it is with your hood cousin, than
Yep.
it is from your white coworker. Those are two different conversations that you can have. But being able to adapt to both, I thought was great for me now as a woman, as an older woman, and much more mature and understanding that I value that experience because it taught me a lot, but also realizing that, um do you want to keep certain people around when you're seeing yourself climb the ladder of success, you
Mm-hmm.
know?
And it's crazy that, like, now that because I was always aware of Metco, I didn't understand or fully know like how it started or what the purpose or vision was for
Hmm.
Metco. Because Danielle went to Metco too, and it's like it's crazy that they use inner city minority kids and bus them to suburban areas to like fit into that population, whether it was for grants, I don't know, like whatever the reason was,
Hmm.
desegregate, quote unquote. But like the reverse didn't happen. Like they're not busing like white people from their certain areas into the inner city to be in those schools. So like that in itself is, again, it's a whole other topic, but it's fucking mind blowing because there's an issue within the school system in terms of resources. Like
Right.
there's no way. So I was watching a TED talk the one I was telling you about, where she was a teacher and she works. Like, she had 600 minority students over her term of teaching,
Mm.
and it was those situations where it's like they they couldn't understand why they didn't have the same new books as
Mm.
the suburban schools. Like,
Hmm.
why don't we have, so we don't want to read because they're just giving us the shit end of the stick, like the whatever,
Right.
the used books. We don't go to the
Right.
library, all that. And that whole thing is mind blowing because it hasn't changed much. It's like the whole, you got to go to school where you live, and obviously if you live in the inner city, the schools in the inner city are not that great, so you won't have the same education as someone who lives in the suburban area paying $1, $2, $3 million for that house. Like, of course their school system is going to be different.
Right.
So yeah, I could understand going home and feeling like, damn, I just got this education today, and like my friend that lives next door to me doesn't even know how to do this particular math situation, or
Which is,
like my cousin
yes,
is in a whole different language.
which is
But feeling
crazy
bad about
because
that. It's not even your fault.
exactly. And I have a cousin who I'm very close with. She's like a sister to me. We grew up and we had two different walks of life. And we're still very similar in a lot of ways, just from like our inner
Like,
upbringing. I don't even know what it is, but we're still very similar, but we're still very opposite at the same time in a lot of ways. And I think that that also played a part because I'm going one path, she's going another path. And I remember her going to school and being like, "Oh, I'm skipping school today." Like, because they took the MBCA, they took public transportation. And I'm like, well, damn, I want to skip school, but I can't because my mother is driving me to the damn bus stop. And
right.
if I'm gonna skip school, I gotta leave the school, get to the commuter rail, get back. Like, it's not gonna work. And then on top of that, in the town that I went to school in, they had police patrol because there ain't nothing else to do. So if they seen you out and you were a kid, they would pull you, like stop you on a sidewalk and be like, why aren't you in school? Like, where are you going? In the city, they don't do that. They're just like, whatever. Do you know what I mean? So that was crazy for me to be like, damn, this is like, I can't even do these type of things. But again, it's like, those experiences and stuff made me feel like I want more in my life and I want to be successful. And I now have a business and tried different businesses before and have the business that I have now. And I'm like, these are the things I want. This is where I'm going. And do I take all these people with me? No, there's only a certain amount that I will take. Um, with me, but I don't see myself the same as you. I don't see myself being able to take everybody with me.
Yeah, you can't. The
You
same
can't.
way you can't develop into your best self with everyone around you that you're used to having around you is the same way you can't continue to be successful with
Right.
that set of people. Like it just it's like math. It just won't work.
Mm-hmm.
Who you surround yourself with really becomes your greater person. Like it's who you are. It's
Mm-hmm.
what you feed yourself every day. It's what you know. So it's like, do I want to bring these people around all the time? And that's where I think about like with DMX's situation.
Mm.
Granted, we don't know the ins and outs of his story and like what was really going on in the background. But I almost feel like if his environment was different, the outcome may have been different.
Mm. True. True.
Right? And like so in dealing with survivors guilt and survivors remorse, like Travis Barker, for example, he's a Marine. He was on an airplane with a few other people. There was a
Mm-hmm.
crash. He survived and one other person survived, and he went through like 30 plus different surgeries based on his injuries and what so have you. And then after that, he ended up turning to drugs because it was like
Mm-hmm.
a whole survivor's guilt moment of like he made it out, one other person, but the pilot was dead. All the other people were there besides the person who made it was dead. And it's like I wonder who that circle was. Not that it has anything to do with them dying.
Right. 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 Right.
It's two different things going on in my head right now, and I do this all the time, so you guys bear with me. But it environments
Mm-hmm.
that create circumstance. Like my ex from school that turned out to be homeless playing the drums. There was plenty of times we were leaving House of Blues, and I'm like, me, there goes Jermaine.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's crazy. I'm like, I made it out of high school, okay? Like, I'm doing all right. There's a couple other people I know that I went to high school with that are doing all right. Yes, a couple that are still in there saying bullshit and don't have much going on, but again, their environments haven't changed too much, so that's why they don't have much going on. But I'm like, how did he get to that point where he was like the flyest shit walking in middle school? Everyone wants to be with this dude, and now he's outside of venues playing buckets to earn money.
Right.
And I used to leave, and we would be at shows, and I was like, "Meet that's him." And I used to inside feel like, "Yo, this is crazy! Like, how did it get to this point? And like, why him and not me?" In a sense of like, not that I wanted to be in that place, but being empathetic to like, "Yo, how did that really happen?" And I wonder like what his circle looked like after middle school. Like, what did he go through that got him to that place? But like, that shit's really sad.
Yes. Very. Absolutely. I think too, like one of the things, going back to like NBA players and sports and hip hop artists and things like that. LeBron, I know he has a couple of documentaries and things like that that are out, but one of the things that he had said in one of them was, he had his five friends. I think it was five of them or five friends or whatever, and he was like, I'm taking all of y'all with me. I'm going to be the forefront because this is what I know my gift is, my talent is. So I'm going to move forward and I'm going to pursue this. I'm going to make it. And then once I make it, I'm going to hit y'all off. And the rest of y'all are going to be able to blow up as well. And that's what he did. And it was like, okay, so they already had that mindset going into it, but he decided these are my core people. This is what I'm doing. And this is how I'm going to move with them. And they're going to be just as ambitious, you know? And I think too, sometimes I'm like, damn, like I have some people like that too, but I don't know if they'll all be just as ambitious. Like I feel like it would be more of a handout, and I don't want to be that person because you got to work for yours as well. Like I always say, I'm like, if I hit the lottery, once I make it, like I'm taking meat with me. Like it don't matter. Like if they're like, yo, we going on this private jet, we going here. Like, no, my meat is coming with me. Like it doesn't even freaking matter because she ride with me all the time. Like you're the number one person that is coming with me everywhere. Doesn't even matter because of the level of respect, the support, everything. and the ride or die aspect I have with you. So it's like that don't even matter. Plus, I know that I don't feel like I'm necessarily like I'm in a position where I would feel like I'm saving you because you have your own ambition. You're doing your own thing. But it's like I'm gonna put you on because I know that you will take that glory and do what you got to do for you, and I'm gonna just help you as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And there's some people that like need to be saved in the aspect of like I have a couple of cousins that I would feel the need to save because I know their potential.
That's a good
And I
point.
know what would happen if they were in a different environment.
Yes.
So in that case, yeah, I would feel the need to say, you know what, let me bring you along and put you in a different place.
Yes.
Let me pluck this flower out of this dead soil and put it in some soil that's gonna allow it to grow. It's not gonna cost me anything.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's gonna grow and it'll blossom into something bigger. That I can see. But it's like those zeros, the zeros that just don't pour into you and you know, like they can't go. So yeah, that'd be different. You know, you go anywhere I go anyway.
I mean, I better.
They may not be able to go, but you do go. And I'm like,
all right, hello.
Episode of Nyce Kicks. And welcome to anybody who just tuned in. The Nyce Kicks on a Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern, every Thursday. But yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I'm definitely not having any guilt for you. So, like, you're coming with me. Like,
I'm not having any guilt for you.
No, if I make it like, nigga, we Oprah and Gail, whichever way it goes, because they both successful. Like, we Oprah and Gail, that's how it is.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I look at it in my eyes. But yeah, definitely, I think that is it's crazy. And like again, I love documentaries. I love, I'm a TV perfect person, but I love watching things that I'm gonna like get something out of, and it stimulates my mind. So that's why I love it. So there was another documentary thing I watched, and with Nas, and him like talking about him and his brother, and he's like, all right, his brother was dealing drugs, and his brother was all in this. Meanwhile, he's out here, he's freaking got a hit record, all of this shit. So he's like, nope, I gotta get my brother, got his brother, we're going here, we're doing this, boom, boom, boom. And his brother stopped dealing drugs, was like, I'm just gonna turn my shit around and I'm gonna ride with my brother. But also knowing like I have the hood to go back to, and taking care of the community entirely. Like that is a big, massive take on that you have to deal with. And I think a lot of it, not even a lot of it, majority of it is what Black people face. Because white people have that privilege and they're going to look out for each other no matter what. Asians, oh God, they start a business, they make money, they give the money, they save up the money, then they invest that money into the next person within the family, then they keep building in the community, they keep building, 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 and that's how they build their wealth. And that's how they can be so successful and wealthy as a community, as a race. But for us as Black people, it's very hard for us to do that because we're not pulling everybody up out of the gutter, if that makes sense.
It's the crabs in a barrel mentality.
Yes.
And it's like shifting that. Like, you can't think like your grandmother did in 1972. I'm pointing back there, like the grandma back there.
I'm like 72 is not that old, mate.
42?
That's like 40 something.
Whatever, you get the point. Yeah, it's a different mentality. Definitely different mentality.
Absolutely.
But Elvis. Did you know he was a twin? Elvis Presley was a twin. But
I didn't know that.
His twin died in the utero stage. And so Elvis dealt with survivor's guilt all his life.
That's crazy because he never even met this nigga.
Exactly. And that's the thing. It's like he hasn't even met him like nothing, but you feel connected in that way that damn, this person's not here. Like, why am I here? So I thought that was pretty interesting in terms of like doing my research. And then with what was it, Parkland, the Parkland shootings, the Sandy Hook shootings, there were a couple of different stories behind some of those people committing suicide on the anniversary, because having that survivor's guilt. Like, one girl was the best friend of someone that got shot and died at Parkland, and she ended up committing suicide on the anniversary.
Wow.
So like that's where it's like deep mental trauma, things that need to be dealt with in terms of like how serious it can be to have survivor's guilt.
Yeah, because
you really honestly feel like you shouldn't be alive because you were present in that situation and you made it out, and like you shouldn't have.
Yeah, and I think we go the more in that situation, or the more successful you get, you feel like you almost start to question yourself, like, why me?
Mm-hmm.
You know, why was I the one that survived this experience or this death? Or why was I the one that survived poverty or things like that? You have that in your mind, and that, yeah, that definitely can cause a lot of trauma. And that, I think, is something that, again, therapy is my biggest thing. I'm an advocate for therapy, is to really work through those emotions and those feelings for that, because I really believe that God has a plan for all of us, and the story's already written. Like, your book is already written. You know what I'm saying?
That
You're
bitch gonna have
living through
592,65,442 billion trillion gazillion pages.
Yes, facts. And you're going through the story of your book. Like, you think you're writing the story, but you really ain't. Like, that's the crazy part. Like, we're like, oh, I write my own story. And I say that all the time, like, I write my own story, da, 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 which I feel like, yes, I am. But at the end of the day, my story is already written. Like, that shit is written. I have an expiration date. He only knows, like, nah, bitch, and blah, whatever. I don't even want to throw out no dates because that's just weird. But on such and such in this year, that's the end of your time. Like, he already knows what the story is going to be. So we just have
to etch a sketch that shit. Etch a sketch. Yeah. So like whatever the story may be, and like you just got to go through the days etch a sketching and creating your own narrative and scripting your own outcomes of every single day, regardless of like who you look up to, who you believe in. Like Nas said, it was written, but like you gotta take
it was written,
like,
though.
rewrite the shit
no,
and
you
just
can't, you can't.
Yeah, I mean, to a certain extent, I feel like
to a certain extent within your life, yes, you want to manifest things in your life, but manifestation comes from the universe and a higher power, I believe, in my opinion. So when you manifest those things, it's like, if you're continuously manifesting something and it comes to you continuously, that means it's meant for you and it's supposed to happen. You're on the right path mentally. You're on that right path for that to happen. So that is what the universe and that higher power is giving.
But you're writing that into your story because you're manifesting it. So you're writing it into your story.
That's what he wants you to believe. But the story's already written. That's the only way to get through life. He wants you to believe that, because that's how he wants you to get through. Because they always say, I don't even remember the freaking line. I was gonna say something like, I wrote I thought I had a plan, but God, there's a quote, something like that.
Okay.
And it's so true. Whatever that quote is, I can't think of it, y'all. But whatever that quote is, and y'all know what I'm talking about. It's so true. Like, it is so true. Like, you just do not you have control of your life within your body and yourself today, but your story is written. Because
make that shit great.
Absolutely.
So we got a great story for the past year and a half. We got chapters on chapters.
We have legit major chapters. We have a New York Times bestseller book.
Facts.
We should be on all the bestsellers list, honey.
Listen.
And everything, honey. The way our book is set up.
Listen, past year job is crazy. But
it is out of control.
Yeah. I don't know.
But if you are somebody that's out there and you have felt survivor's guilt, survivor's remorse, any of that, just make sure that you talk through it. You talk to somebody professionally if it's something that continues to worry you or bother you day to day. Get the help and support that you need to get through it, and know that you have a purpose. You are the purpose in your life, and you just have to continue to strive for betterness, and don't let anybody talk you off a ledge. I mean, no. They want to talk you off a ledge.
Get out here. I'm like, wait, what? You like just go off the ledge? Like, just take a step, just fucking jump. Oh my gosh.
This is gonna be a clip tomorrow. I hate it.
Wow. Rewind the selectors. You definitely didn't mean that. I'm like, just go off there.
The tequila's like, no, bitch. This is not what this is what. Like,
I'm sure that's
like
not,
let them talk you off that ledge.
She didn't mean that. It was no.
Rewind, come back, selector. Yes, no, I'm sorry, y'all. That's not what I meant. Y'all know what the fuck I meant. God damn it. Like, shit.
Take 2 steps back from the edge of the ledge. That's when you know it's almost the end of another episode.
It is the end. It ain't almost. It's the end.
Anyway, if you just tuned in, you're at the end.
You're at the end and you're fucked up because you should have started from the beginning. So,
facts. So next week, we're doing Bedroom Secrets Part 4.
Okay. I was like, hold on, where's my notes?
Where's my notes? I think it's time for Bedroom Secrets Part 4.
Okay.
It's been a while, and we don't have any Bedroom Secrets recorded, so make sure you're here at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific on Thursday. Our bedroom secrets are literally amazing. So
at these points, there is no secrets for me. So
wow. Wow.
At this point, there's no secrets for me. So y'all just gonna get what it is.
Good sex, no stress, one boo, small checks, big checks. I mean,
all of that.
Fuck that. Hold on. Good sex, no stress, one boo, small checks. I can't even talk.
She can't read. I need to talk her off the ledge, y'all. I gotta talk her off the ledge right now.
3 times a charm. Good sex, no stress, one boo, small circle, big checks.
One boo, small circle, big checks. Okay.
And we talked about small circle and big checks.
Yes, we did.
Go to thedrdapper.com. Sure, quotes.
Go to
all around the universe.
That one. All right, guys, we love y'all. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to Nyce Kicks. We want to see y'all back next week, Thursday, 8 p.m. Don't forget, tell your friend to tell a friend to tell a friend, tell a cousin, tell whoever that you feel guilty for. Anybody to subscribe for the show this evening and for the future shows. Check us out every Thursday, y'all. I love you, me.
I love you too.
Deuces.